Okay. So I'd like to officially call the meeting to order, and we'll do the roll call of the board.
Okay, Liz,
Here,
Gina. Here. Abby is not here, correct? Adam,
Here.
Lee,
Present.
and myself, I'm here.
and for anyone who has here for the first time, either online or here in person, if you please feel free to introduce yourself and we'll move forward. And also happy New Year. Happy New Year.
We have a new person.
Yes. Hi. So my name is Maria Olmo and I represent Mary Lake.
Thank you, Ms. Olmo.
I'm
Yeah.
Karen Hunter and I'm representing Mary Lake.
Welcome. Thanks.
I just want to remind everybody in the room that the microphone is up here. So particularly if you're going to make a presentation or something, please come up at least to the middle of this table and speak toward the screen, because then you'll be captured and heard by folks on Zoom.
And do we have quorum for the voting members?
We do have quorum.
All right, awesome. And may I have a motion to approve the minutes for November and December 2022?
So moved.
Second. Second,
Inviting Sally and Robbie. Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, I just say move to pass by acclamation unless anybody has something they want to bring up.
Yep, we can do that too. All in favor, any abstention?
All in favor?
Or rather than doing a vote, I propose that we move to pass by acclamation, which means just if anyone has a problem, they can stop that, but otherwise it motion passes.
Oh, okay, thanks, Adam. Okay. And moving forward to our financial report with Gina.
In November, the ending balance was $4,297.78. And there was only one expenditure in December that included reimbursement for appreciation gifts for Darlene and Diane, the holiday reception here, and also the get well for Officer Chad Curry, and that totaled $158.84, which leaves us with a current balance of $4,138.95.
All right. And next up, we'll hear from our New Haven Police Department. We have Chief of Police Jacobson along with Lieutenant Fumiani to give us their reports. They're here in person.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. I thought it was important that I come with Lieutenant Fumiani and my two assistant chiefs in light of the recent spike in violence in Fairhaven. I wanted you to know that it's important to us. Every spike in violence anywhere in the city is important to us, but we care very much about what's going on in this community right now. And we wanted to come here and speak briefly about it. I can't tell you too much about the situations, but I can tell you that the murder on Friday night and the murder on Sunday are not connected. We know that for sure. And that we're making substantial leads on both of them. We do have some cause for some concern about retaliation. Not both incidents, the retaliation wouldn't be brought back to Fairhaven, but one of them it would. So what I have done is I put the motor units in the Fairhaven uniform, in the Fairhaven community to stop cars and, make stops. And I've also put all the plainclothes units, which are under the direction of Assistant Chief Etienne, which is called crime suppression, and I put them in Fairhaven till further notice. And just on a side note, last night alone, those units seized 4 guns. They weren't directly in Fairhaven. I think one of the cars they pulled from Fairhaven stopped it. There was 2 guns in it. So since the first of the year, yes, we've had this, the second murder for Fairhaven was the first murder of this year for us, for the city. But since the first, the police department seized 7 guns and made 8 arrests related to guns in just these 4 days, 4 or 5 days. So it's important to us. We're doing things. There was also a situation where there was an exchange of gunfire with younger kids related to students on Tuesday. That person was shot on Norton Street. But I'm telling you this because we then put groups together and went and visited in what we call custom notification style, many kids that are related to the 2 groups that are beefing. And some of them do live in Fairhaven. And we went and we knocked on everybody's door. We made the parents aware that we're afraid that these kids, we want them safe, alive, and out of jail, but they're involved in violence. And we got some real good services to people, real good communication with parents. And that was just yesterday where assistant chiefs visited 12 residences and talked to parents. So we're doing what we have to do. We're engaging other city units to help us, such as the City Youth Coalition and CPVIP, which is the street outreach workers. So we're all working together to quell the violence. And my orders have been until we see a reduction in Fairhaven and we can say that some of these incidents are suppressed, we're gonna keep those extra units in Fairhaven. Lieutenant Fumiati also has a walking beat. He'll be moving that around with regards to where we think there might be some violence spiking. We're trying to get ahead of it. So I think unless I missed something, Chief, so.
No, sir. So the only thing I would just add is that with the walking beat, speaking with Lieutenant Fumiati in the community, what we might do temporarily, everybody, is to make that a hybrid park and walk. So they'll have a cruiser, do some crime suppression. It may take away from the actual walk a little bit, but it's cold weather, so we'll be engaging more people with the car for the time being. And then when spring hits, we might return back to the walking beat. So it'll be more of a hybrid now. And that's just based on our staffing levels and a lot of things we hear. But we're open to community feedback on that. We're trying to give everything we can to Lieutenant Fumiati, and he's doing a great job. But please let us know what else you think would work. You know, now that it's kind of a mild winter, I know next week is going to be a little bit colder, but if we want to have some community events together, or I know all that we've done that in the past, we're happy to participate and join forces in that way as well. Thanks again. It's good to see everybody and to meet everyone that's new here tonight.
Assistant Chief, I think.
Yes, I just want to add one more thing to what the chief said. In your perspective areas, please call the police if you see something that is suspicious, or you think that needs some attention to. You're not bothering us. This is how we help address these crimes. Anything, call it. It may be important to us. Don't think that it's not that important. Please call us, do what you see, what you hear. We appreciate it. Thank you.
And another thing we saw when we had the shooting of Officer Curry, there were some people that didn't really feel like they trusted the police. And other people within the Fairhaven community went out and talked to them and got them to come and see us, and everything worked out good. So that's another thing. If you have neighbors that have seen something or know something and they don't feel comfortable, you can get that information, bring it to us. And if we have to go see them, we'll go see them with you. We're coming off a year of 14 homicides, and I don't want to say only because one is too many. But we're coming into a period of time where we're seeing a spike in violence, and it's extremely important to us it doesn't matter how many shootings there are in Fairhaven or out the city. What matters is that the community feels safe. And I know right now you don't feel safe, and we're going to do everything possible to restore that for you. And I mean everything possible. So, Lieutenant, anything you want to add?
Yeah, so if you wanted to leave, you want me to just get into my regular report, or do you want to open it up for questions for the chiefs first, and then we'll get into my regular report? Is that what?
However you guys want to, whatever makes more
Yeah.
sense to you.
I think that's okay. Anybody who has questions for one of the chiefs, and then we'll
I
get.
just wanted to make one comment. The chief, the motor vehicle enforcement is a big part of enforcement because I've been in the city all my life. And back in the days when we had extra officers, we always had motor vehicle enforcement. And we did take a lot of stuff off the streets. So I'm glad you brought it back. It's a big part of getting the city back together, from my experience that I experienced. Thank you.
Yeah, and back in November, we added four or five people to the motor unit, which the motor unit is specifically, yeah, they're the motorcycles, but their specific and only job is to stop cars. And they're gonna be in areas where we've seen an uptick in violence in Fairhaven. So just last night, I was driving around in Fairhaven too, and I heard the motor units attempt to stop a car and it actually took off on them. It was only for motor vehicle violations, so they couldn't chase it. But we know that that's gonna make an impact, and it's gonna push some of these outside influences that might be coming in for retaliation to not come in. So we'll continue that.
And there is a question.
I had a question. Someone mentioned something about when Officer Curry was, that, they were afraid that they didn't really trust the police, so they spoke to someone else. Is there an official like police liaison to like bridge that, or that just happened to be?
Well, it happened to actually be one of our police commissioners that.
Got it, okay.
That made that bridge, but it could be anybody, especially you guys in the CMT who know lieutenant and know assistant chief, whoever you feel comfortable with. It just really helps. And it's funny because the person who didn't want to talk to us felt really comfortable after that interaction, and I know that they won't in the future, so.
Got it.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Go ahead.
has a bicycle patrol ever been considered for Fairhaven?
Yes, absolutely. It's just right now with the staff shortages, I'm making it a walking beat instead of the bicycle patrol, but as the weather gets better, we're putting on, I have 30 brand new officers in one way or shape of training. Some come out in March, some come out in April. We'll be looking to push them out in either walking beats or bicycle patrol. But you're absolutely right. I love those as well.
All right, we have one from chat, and then Maureen has her hand up. The question from chat from Rachel, you were talking earlier about retaliation shootings. The question is, what about the shooting at Atwater and Pine on Monday night, just after the memorial service on Grand? Is that being looked into for retaliation?
Yeah, that is at the point in the investigation on that. We do not believe it was a retaliation, but we are concerned about that area. We also have that special unit called the Shooting Task Force. And in the past, we did have a smaller shooting task force, but we didn't make a lot of arrests with it. This year to date, we've made 15 arrests for what's called attempted assault first, which means people fired a gun and they didn't hit anybody. So we're having a lot of success with cases related to people firing guns and not hitting anybody, because that's potentially a shooting or a homicide too. So that unit is assigned to that specific incident, which I'm very I have a lot of faith in that unit that they'll either make something happen or get enough information so we can prevent anything else over there.
All right, and then Maureen.
For the audience that's in the library, I just wanted to make sure you know, there's a number of people on Zoom here who are from a number of organizations that deal with violence in different ways. So I think it's great that there's been a good turnout from supportive organizations also caring about this.
Yes, and we'll be doing canvases in the Fairhaven area with support groups like, Child Study, Clifford Beers. We have a clergy academy that we formed, and there's a lot of Fairhaven clergy involved. And we'll be knocking door to door to make sure, because they might have not been involved, but kids might have heard the shots or whatever. So we're really pushing that community policing side to go out and make sure everybody's all right in the aftermath.
We have one more question or comment here.
Chief, with regards to the motor vehicle stop, are your police officers looking for any particular make and model vehicles? Or is it just, random, motor vehicle incidents?
So we've seen obviously that when retaliation comes, it comes in the form of a motor vehicle coming from a different area with guns in it. So that's pretty much the purpose. We did have some vehicles we were looking for related to the incidents. I can't get in depth about that because of the investigation, but we have found some. So we're making significant progress. And I'll tell you what's been very helpful is there's good camera systems in Fairhaven. And we've installed some what's called license plate readers on the main roadways, so we've been able to pick up license plates of vehicles involved, which in the past we never had that. So we are making significant progress, but I would say it's a twofold thing. We're just looking to stop those guns coming from other areas to retaliate.
Thank you.
Assistant Chief, you had suggested a community events, and on behalf of Mary Wade, will open up our facility grounds.
Thank you.
And we have one more question or comment from
A quick question on the motor vehicle. I understand that, I mean, for a while, there's no chasing even motorcycles or cars. You think that is preventing you from, I mean, getting more people? Because now anybody could just take up and you won't be able to chase them.
Well, there is.
But we like to, the law to be reversed, so you guys could go back to chase or.
So we can chase under certain circumstances. So if the vehicle was described as just firing a weapon or something dangerous, or maybe a vehicle used to kidnap. So under certain felonies, we can still chase. And I would say that we do when we can, and we don't when we're not supposed to. And I wouldn't change it only because it's very dangerous, extremely dangerous. I myself, in my 25 years, with my first department of 10 years, I was in 2 chases where people were killed because the suspect smashed into innocent people. And after experiencing that, I don't want to be that anymore. But you're absolutely right. So what we have invested in the police department, and I'm very excited about it, the cops are excited about it. We got the stop sticks, which if we have a car and we can set them up safely, it pops all their tires so they can't go anywhere. I just ordered those back in November. They're gonna come in, I'm gonna write policy on them, train everybody, so by March that should happen. And then the second thing is something called Star Chaser. It's actually a device that shoots out and sticks to the car. And now it's a GPS device. Now we don't have to chase it and we know where the car goes. I was able to obtain, well, the staff was able to obtain grants related to firearms and with the ATF. So the city's not even paying for that. We got the grant for that. Actually, all their youth helped them. Thank you. So with these 2 devices, it gives officers the ability to feel like their hands aren't tied all the time, right? So, but real important, train them right and make sure they're using them right. But this is gonna help with that, because they're gonna hear, especially incidents like drag racing, and they're gonna hear, don't go to New Haven because they'll pop your tires and get you anywhere. So we're hoping that makes an impression and keeps the good people of our city safe. So thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you, stay safe.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you.
And then just quick question. I gave the chat here on Zoom Lieutenant Fumiati's cell number and the crimes tip line text thing. Is there any other kind of way that you'd like people to contact with tips?
Yes, you could call 203-946-6304. That is a detective division. That's 203-946-6304.
Okay. And before Lieutenant Fumiati continues, is there any other questions or comments?
First of all, I want to say thank you. You guys are such really great partners, all of you, and we really appreciate it. I want to ask, I get asked all the time about all the corners where we see all the like open air drug activity. We all know where they are. People always ask me like, why can't they just go in and arrest them, and what impact that's having on this violence? So I know there's a lot of factors, I already would just speak to it, kind of on the record, so folks know what's going on. We're working on a strategy at Granite Pearl, which may or may not be effective, but.
Yeah, so I think we have to look outside the box from the old days, right? We do still do drug cases, we still do make arrests for sales of narcotics, but there's no, so that was a big thing that helped us stop the retaliation. So you put someone in jail, they might be there for a couple weeks, a couple months, things slow down, by the time they get out, this war for this territory may or may not be there. We still do see fights over drug territory. You know where that kid was killed in Poplar is a big drug territory area where people are making money. So, you know, unfortunately, a lot of the drug laws have changed and the ability to hold people related to those things have changed. And I don't think that's a bad thing either, because I don't think locking, you know, the old war on drugs, we can't arrest our way out of it. So I totally understand that. But when you have certain areas, and we've seen it like on Congress and Daggett next to the Act Foundation that seem to be like money-making areas for drug dealers, we do see some violence around that. So the best way to fix it is what you guys are thinking about in Granite East Pearl and different things that can change the landscape of that area. Now, I know the lieutenant did a great job and moved some things and there were some barriers up and it seemed like things were starting to calm down, but then we had to take them down because you also, excuse me, have the rights of the business owners, and I don't want to get too blown out on that, but I think we need a balance. So we don't even have a drug unit right now because of our short staff. But as I put more cops on, that's something. And when I make a drug unit again, it will only be related to violence. So if there's not violence in the area, we're not just arresting drug addicted people, because that doesn't happen, right, everybody? So I do want to get back to some drug interdiction, some of that work related to violence, and I think it's important. But if you can change that landscape and it's no longer this, you know, area where people make a lot of money, then we're in a better place. You know, I could, you know, we still do have violent episodes in the city based on drug territory. I mean, I'm not going to say no. So, thank you for the question. That was a good question.
I'll just add to this, with guys that's on the street doing these open air hand-to-hand sales, a lot what they need is someone to disrupt them. So if you folks call and we can send a call in an area to just disrupt their activity, and then that'll help. You know, obviously we can't give you a lieutenant, anybody has his hands full, but being able to disrupt their activity will help.
We do call. I mean, I just know people, they see drug transactions happening, like, right, and we all see it, we all know where they are. And so everybody wants to know, like, why can't we just get a handle on this? And so I just think it's helping people understand the better.
The risk of selling drugs on the corner compared to the money that these kids or adults are making, there's no risk anymore. So except being shot. So it's extremely hard for us, but I think it takes an effort of us meaning the community and you guys, where we do make some arrests, we do scatter people off those corners, and then also change it, you know, so.
If there aren't any further questions on Zoom or here, oh, go ahead, sir.
Hi, the liquor store on Ferry Street where there was a shooting, I believe a month or so ago. The ownership changed. There was two guys who owned the store for, I guess, many years, and there was really not that many problems. But since the new owners took over, they've been very lax with letting people do things in their parking lot, even though there was a shooting there. They still, there's cars that pull up, transactions and go. It's like a drive-through. So I'm just wondering, is there any way somebody can talk to the owner, or, you know, possibly keep an eye on that area, because it's become like a drive-through, you know, and it's like a car pulls up, hey man, you know, and it drives away. Car pulls up, drives away, you know. So and the business owner doesn't want to cause trouble, I guess. So it's like a new hot spot. So I'm just saying, there was already a shooting there, and I think did they die? I forgot.
They did.
Yeah, so if you could just a heads up on that location. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's something where, you know, like I said, we're scarce in resources, but when we get to that point where we can push some of these things out of the area and work with the business owner, but the lieutenant will be there tomorrow and talk to them. Thank you for pointing that out.
All right, so Lieutenant Giuliani, we would love to give you your time to give your report, and then if there are any additional questions, we can take care of that.
I will try to keep my report as brief as possible. I appreciate all the chiefs coming out to show that their support in Fairhaven. They've been generous with their resources out here. We always are trying to pull resources from the rest of the city, and unfortunately, we just don't have as many resources, but we do the best we can to spread them around. And so there were a couple of themes that we kind of hit on throughout the course of the questions and answers that you had for the chiefs. And so my report is kind of going to go in line with that as well. Themes of new technology that we're using rather than aggressively and unsafely chasing cars. Themes like issues with drug sales and open air drug markets and then people being let back out. And then also continuing violence in areas that could use honestly community investment and city investment to change the landscape of what we're looking at. I can arrest 50 people in Grand and Poplar, but for some reason in Fairhaven, that is a place that's known to buy and sell drugs. And so as a city, how do we change that location so it's no longer the place to buy and sell drugs? And I think that's a much larger question that we're not going to answer tonight, but is a conversation that I'm happy to participate in with everyone. So a couple things I just wanted to talk about. While officers, we have a new walking beat, if they weren't out on vacation because they've been working nonstop for the last month, officers Heriberto Rodriguez and Baltazar Rivera, aka Tito, you'll see them out on Grand Avenue walking pretty much regularly. They are brand new officers. They're excited. They've gotten a couple of drug arrests over the last couple of weeks. One at Grand and Poplar, where they watched an individual do a hand-to-hand transaction like you all are talking about. They stopped that individual, detained him, and arrested him. He is a convicted felon, has multiple drug and gun arrests. So that was a great job by them. They also did the same thing at Ferry and Peck Street. Throughout some of the things that I want to talk about tonight, we receive a lot of information from all of you. Not necessarily the people in this room, but the people of Fairhaven give us a lot of information all the time. And I really appreciate that because then when we have good, credible information from you, we can act on it. If you want to remain anonymous, we use the tools available to us to still conduct investigation while keeping you safe and leaving you remaining anonymous. And so as I'm talking about these things, I want you all to think about that because obviously I'm not going to say, hey, with information from the public in this one, that's how we got to an arrest. And so Ferry and Peck Street, Officers Rivera and Rodriguez were out patrolling. They were on an overtime beat. They were hired to walk the area of Ferry and Peck Street. And they observed an individual making a hand-to-hand drug transaction. They stopped and detained him. They had over $1,000 on him, 30 bags of crack cocaine, 40 bags of heroin. And so he was arrested and charged with a whole host of charges. Because Peck and Ferry is one of the hotspots in Fairhaven, as you all see it all the time, we were able to bring some of our federal partners in with the DEA shooting task force, plainclothes officers, and conduct an operation, an early morning operation with the assistance of some patrol officers, Officer Torres, Officer Reeser, Officer Heriberto Rodriguez, and Officer Rivera. We detained 10 individuals who were engaged in selling narcotics, crack and heroin from inside the store and outside the store. Interestingly enough, of those individuals, 4 of them had previously had gun charges. 2 of them had gun charges, one within the last 2 weeks before that incident, and one within 6 months of that incident. So I just think that's interesting. It's not for me to draw the conclusions, but you all can draw those conclusions. That's an interesting thing. Along the same theme there, our plainclothes officers on the evening of December 3rd are patrolling the area of Clay Street when they observe an individual driving a car recklessly. As they stop that vehicle, the task force officers conduct a traffic stop. The vehicle doesn't initially stop, however, it does comply and pull over. As officers are looking into the vehicle while they're speaking with the driver, they observe the passenger to have an extended magazine from a firearm sticking out of his pocket. They know him because he's previously shot at officers. That individual was detained in the incident after a brief struggle with the officers. While he is struggling with officers, he reaches into his waistband for a Glock 45 handgun. Officers were able to wrestle the gun from him. Along with the gun and the extended magazine were 2 grams of crack cocaine, 11 ecstasy pills, and $600 in cash. That individual was arrested and charged accordingly. That's Joseph Newton, 5/26/1985. He was previously charged, I believe it was just under 10 years ago, for shooting at one of our detectives during an investigation. In keeping with that theme of individuals getting out after they've been arrested, that was just something that I thought was worth bringing up in the conversation, and also highlight the great job that these task force officers are doing. When we talk about guns, I feel like sometimes I flippantly talk about firearms and seizing them like it's nothing, and it's a really, really serious thing, obviously. And so these detectives and officers are putting their lives on the line, risking a lot to detain people and get firearms off the street. In one of the areas that we talked about on early December, Task Force Officer Borges and Task Force Officer Grillo, both former Fairhaven officers, are in the area of Grand and Poplar. So this is early December. They observed two individuals make hand-to-hand drug transactions. They detained both of them and seized. One had 3 active arrest warrants. They arrested him and sent him down to detention. The other had 27 bags of crack cocaine and 18 bags of heroin on him. There's this one I'll skip over, but I want to talk about an incident where an individual in the area of task force officers are out again in the area of Ferry and Lombard on Friday, December 9th. They observed a vehicle driving around with its headlights off. That's very concerning for us after hours, especially in high crime areas, specifically at the intersection of Ferry and Chatham, Ferry and Lombard. Officers follow this vehicle. They attempt to stop the vehicle, and the offender flees on foot. This offender, Dean Mata, born 7/19/1998, is a individual from Fairhaven. As he's running, he pulls a black and tan Taurus 9mm pistol from his waistband and throws it. Officers apprehend him, and he has 100 bags of heroin and 10 grams of crack cocaine. Also, a loaded extended magazine was located as well on scene. Mata had a warrant from North Haven for firearm related charges.
He was subsequently arrested for murder in North Haven, where they followed a car, I believe from Fairhaven, they got off the highway to North Haven. They shot up the car, resulting in someone's death. So he was just charged with the murder. And if you make the connection, we get the gun, North Haven tests it, and he's charged with murder. So they're doing great work.
There was also another incident where it was the first time that stop sticks were used in Fairhaven. It was individuals, again, the plainclothes officers had a vehicle that was stolen. They were conducting surveillance on it. They set up a very safe way to apprehend these individuals as they used one vehicle to try to stop the car. There was a sergeant or an officer trooper from the state police that is allowed to use stop sticks, that has the policy and the equipment. He deploys the stop stick. The vehicle is driven by a juvenile. Another juvenile is in the car, and as the juveniles flee from the vehicle, they locate a ghost gun with an extended magazine associated with it. So the officers were able to not only safely stop the car, but also get juveniles with firearms off the street. And so all of that, our plan for the next month is to continue once Officer Rivera and Rodriguez are back from vacation, which should be in a day or two. They will return to Grand Avenue, so they will have a presence at Grand and Poplar. We'll maintain a presence at Ferry and Chatham, and then also we'll continue our presence down on Salt Stall, 191 Salt Stall in that housing complex down there. As always, if you need anything, you can call me or text me anytime. Obviously at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm probably not working, but I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I might be. And then certainly you can email me, send me pictures. If you have people that are engaged in criminal activity, if you want to talk to an officer, we can pretty much work through however you feel comfortable in providing the information to us and myself. We'll figure out the best way to conduct that enforcement while keeping everyone safe.
Okay. And are there any questions here in the room or online? I'm not seeing anything here in the room.
I see no hands online either.
Okay. I
I
don't
have a
think,
question.
oh, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Alder was a Festival Ward 16 owner. Welcome, Chiefs. It's to see you here. And I just wanted to inquire, maybe Lieutenant, you may have the answer with regards to how many new recruits we're going to have in the next cycle, and if we're looking to recruit additional officers.
Specifically in Fairhaven.
Yes.
So really the way things go, it's interesting. I always say the best officers come out of Fairhaven. The other districts would get that. But what's interesting is what happens is because officers do a good job out here. Generally they get promoted, they move on to other things. And so that's why I highlight the task force officers. Hopefully within the next week or so, Officer Travelino, who's the Fairhaven officer, will get promoted to sergeant. And then the cycle continues where we fill those slots as officers get promoted and move on to other assignments. We fill those slots. The chief would probably.
Yeah, so we have 11 trainees in different academies. So there's 7 in Waterbury, there's 2 in Post, which Post holds an academy. Waterbury has an academy as well. And there's 2 that just got out of an academy and they're training on the street with another officer. So those 11 will be good to go by mid-April. Mid-April, end of April. We have 19 of our own in our own academy. Those 19 will get out in hopefully May, the end of May, and they'll start riding with other people and they'll be on their own. We just did a certified a list for 104. So we just certified a list with the Board of Police Commissioners for 104 candidates. We're gonna push and get as many of them ready, and we'll probably do 10 into a satellite academy. And as soon as our academy's done in May, I'll do as many. If I can do 30, 40, whatever it is, into the next one. And we have those open spots right now, and I've also requested with the new budget cycle coming up, some more spots as well. And, you know, I'm sure I'll be meeting with all you alders and explaining what I'm gonna do with all those officers, but we just have to keep hiring till we even get to this level, but I foresee a different level. And, you know, I'll hopefully be going forward with you guys on that. But right now, anyone that we can get that wants the job and fits the requirements, we're gonna put them into an academy. See, we sometimes waited too long to put them in an academy and we lose great candidates to other police departments.
Yeah.
That's happening more than ever right now. You hear it nationally, right? We've also had some of our own officers inquiring to leave. I know 2 left in December, 2 really good officers left in December. There's potentially 5 more leaving in January. So we gotta stop that flow too, so we'll be coming to you about the contract too.
Thank you, Jim, and just one more follow-up. Would you anticipate any increase in the near future within the next 3 to 6 months for more beats, at least within the year for Haven?
Yeah, so what we explained before you came in is I've assigned the motor units was an extra 5 people at night and an extra 6 people during the day to be in Fairhaven, and we've assigned the plainclothes units from investigative services unit to be here at night, every night. So actually, I was taking a text message on the phone, they just grabbed another gun. So I'm trying to get the location if it was Fairhaven or just outside, but it would have started in Fairhaven because that's where they're being dispersed to. So,
Thank you.
yep.
I just have two quick things that I wanted to just highlight too that I didn't get a chance to. So the month of December was actually a really good month as far as the rest of our crime went in Fairhaven. And so there were 3 robberies in the month of December, 1 burglary. That's really unprecedented, honestly. That very rarely we see a month go by where Fairhaven only has 1 burglary. There was 5 thefts from auto, meaning that someone broke into someone's car and stole something. There were only 5 motor vehicle thefts as well. And so sometimes we have 5 or 6 motor vehicle thefts in a given week where people leave their cars running as the weather gets colder. That's something I just want to remind everyone of. Don't leave your keys in your car overnight, and certainly if you're warming up your car, don't warm it up and make sure that it can't be taken if you're not starting it. And then lastly, over the course of the year, in Fairhaven, we had some interesting statistics. We were down 38% in robberies with a firearm, down from 21 in the year 2021. And also assault with firearm victims, so people who were shot in Fairhaven, that's down 14%. And then aggravated assaults, assaults where people are seriously injured is down 22%. And then I think the most interesting one for me at least. So on December 6th, we fully expanded ShotSpotter to cover almost the majority of Fairhaven. There's very small pieces that are not. But so in doing that, over the course of the year, ShotSpotter earlier in the year expanded, or last year expanded to most of Fairhaven, and now we've closed the rest of the gap. So the entire district is covered in ShotSpotter. What's interesting is that we had a 33% decrease of confirmed shots fired incidents. So in 2021, we had 60 incidents in Fairhaven, where people called or shots fired went off, and then officers went and found evidence that shots were fired. In this past year, 2022, there were 40 incidents. Obviously, when bullets are flying in Fairhaven, we don't like that, but the reduction is something that I think is worth highlighting, especially with the increase of the technology that tells us there are shots fired incidents.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 times when we increase the shots fired in a district, it goes way up, because now we're hitting an area that we weren't seeing before. But in this case, it went down, so that's good.
I just have one short question. For the theft of the motor vehicle, at nighttime, we're getting a lot of breaking into the cars and stuff like that. So my question was with Lieutenant Fumiani, my car got stolen also. And people leave evidence behind. I know it's a big thing for fingerprint and everything like that. But if we can get something with that person being involved in that car, that can stop him from doing it for another 5 cars. I mean, why don't we retrieve some kind of evidence that he may have touched or wasn't in the vehicle at that time? And we could stop him from doing another 5 cars.
So a lot of times, these cars are used for all the crimes, and when that occurs, a lot is held to process it. At that point, the crime scene detects them and they process upon it, like DNA, and take fingerprints. But that takes time. And if we get a good profile that identifies someone, obviously we follow the rest. So yes, what you're saying is correct, but it just takes time.
The issue is too, we have 8 detectives that work crime scene. We had 107 shootings in 14
No,
hours.
I know the insurance are more important.
It's tough. And the other thing is, most of your cars are stolen by juveniles. We arrest juveniles constantly for car theft, nothing happens. So you know what they do? It's not a deterrent. They go back out and do it again. But we will try to get better. If you have video, I know that we've instilled something now that if you have video and the video could show that they touch a certain part of the car or there's something left behind, we will try to process it. We've just started doing that probably 6 months ago, so.
Yeah, that could, because I said to myself, certain stuff wasn't, that don't belong to me, it was in the car later on. And I said to the officer, I said to me, you know, that don't belong to me, it belongs to the person that stole my car.
Yeah.
So now my neighbor up the street this week, his car got broken in. So if we can catch this individual and take him off the street for a while, maybe we'll get another 5 cars. Well, every day we go to work and we gotta come outside and find our car alarm, our windows busted.
I totally understand. I live in Westville and on Monday morning, after being out late for the homicide, I came out to my car and somebody fought my car. But I'll tell you, I had a computer in it, I had a lot of things in it. They didn't take anything, they left my ID on the dashboard, like, we're not taking your stuff because we know you. But the feeling of the entire car was false. And I totally know what you're talking about. We looked at my ring camera, it wasn't enough to tell, and honestly, Assistant Chief Becky said, I'll send via Vine. I'm like, no, they didn't take anything, and I'm not tying up our guys on that, so. But we will try to get better at that, and that's about numbers, we need the people to do that. Like right now, the priority is violent crime and other things, but we need the numbers, and I know it's important, because I just went through it. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. If there are any additional questions, concerns, information that you'd like to pass on, you can just go ahead and contact Lieutenant Fumiani and his team directly. And we'll move on to Robin Mendez's Livable City Initiative report. She is not present this evening as she is still recuperating.
Carmen may be here. We have a Carmen's iPhone. I don't know if that's Carmen.
No, she told us she wasn't gonna be here. We have
Okay.
to report.
No, that's probably me.
Oh, she is here.
She said that's probably me.
No, this is different
Okay.
Carmen.
Yeah, okay, different Carmen. All right.
Oh, leave it a bit. Okay. So I'll just give her quick report. Of course, she wishes everyone a happy new year. And so basically she's only been back to work for 2 days, so she doesn't really have much. But she was able to let us know that yesterday she conducted a thorough inspection of Ward 16 and found 32 violations. Violations include graffiti, bulk trash storage on either the side or backyards, junkyards, illegal junk car storage, dilapidated fences, landscape maintenance, etc. So be working on getting all the letters out by the early part of next week. And she'll give a full report on her work at the next community management team meeting in February. And moving on to our civilian review board quarterly presentation with Jawan Carter.
Dewan, are you with us?
I don't see
Yeah, okay.
on Zoom here.
Okay, so he had confirmed he's not here. I'll reach out to him if he can get to the meeting. I'll just let the chair know.
Thank you. And next we'll have our economic development update with Ms. Kathleen Frola.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Firstly, can you hear me okay? Because sometimes I have a problem with my laptop. Okay, good. Excellent. Okay. Update in regard to the Strong School. The city has begun to meet with the developer to get a land disposition, land development agreement going. I don't know what to say about time on that. These things tend to ebb and flow, but that has started. And also the department is working with Grand Avenue Special Services District. They're trying to, I guess they're going through some kind of a little bit of a reorganization, and also trying to get some more funding from the state to match with ARPA community, neighborhood commercial corridor monies. So that's still ongoing, but so they haven't secured that yet, but they're working on that. And last month, I believe someone wanted to know if there was an update in regard to Gigantic Studios. So Steve Fontana said he had reached out to Gigantic because they hadn't met and said, let's, you ready to start meeting again? And so I think they were not at that time, maybe due to availability or whatever reason, but so he did reach out again. So it's just no update. Again, these things tend to ebb and flow. Sometimes they move very quickly, sometimes they don't. It's different when it's a business versus a developer. Like you'll probably see the Strong School move a little bit fast because you're dealing with a developer. Sometimes when we're working with a business that's developing something, they maybe take time out to work on their primary business. And again, so these things tend to ebb and flow, but that's the update that I received. Does anyone have any questions?
Go ahead.
You said that update came from Mr. Fontana?
Yes, from Steve Fontana, and the Grand Avenue Special Services District update is from Carlos Izaguirre.
So, I mean, if I heard correctly, they want to meet or they don't want to meet?
Oh, I think they want to meet. It just either scheduling or whatever they have going on didn't work out.
Okay, just. But they reached out to me and on the Facebook, they did want it to meet. I told you, I thought I heard you said that something was going on that they did not want it to meet. So,
Oh, no, they never said they didn't want to meet. As I said, these things tend to sometimes move slow than fast, especially when it's a business that has a primary business that they run that's not development. And I don't know what they have going on that could take their focus and shift to that.
okay, I mean, so thank you.
I'm sorry?
Thank you for that point of clarification.
Any further questions here in the library or online? Oh, go
I
ahead.
can just add a little bit more information about the Strong School. Thanks, Kathleen. So we actually have now a memorandum of understanding, which is really, really fast. I think that's thanks in large part to the great folks at Penrose and also at EPA and in Port Council. So we had it signed before the end of the year, which is like a month, which I understand some kind of record to get these things done. So the next step is the land disposition agreement, which will have to be approved by the Board of Aldermen. There'll also be the opportunity for the public to weigh in on it, come testify if you want. So that is the next step. But I think getting the MOU and also getting the property transferred from Board of Ed to the city was also helpful. And LCI came in and made some security improvements to the building. So we had people in there all the time, and we've seen a really an end to that past couple of months. I haven't seen anything since.
That's great.
The other people's building down, so. We
We have, yeah.
So it's much better. So I think we're in a good place to just kind of not have any more damage happen to the building until Penrose is able to take over. And that will be after we get the LPA approved by the board of alders and signed by everybody, hopefully sometime like in March.
Wow, that would be really fast. Yeah.
Well, it's
And then,
alders in probably February is the goal, and so it'd be maybe April, May, but it is spring.
yeah, that's great. But again, you're dealing, with the developer. And just so everyone understands, after that agreement is complete, then a closing transaction can take place. It's not like Penrose can start something before or technically has ownership. Just like in any other real estate transaction, it's a closing and it'll take place after that agreement is finalized.
Right, and I think they're gonna come back to this meeting in February or March, so they're gonna come back to report to the community as well. So anyway, appreciate all that.
Good. I hope they have renderings.
Kathleen, months back, there was mention of Lyman Orchards expressing interest in a property on Grand. Is that still in the offing, or is it dead, or?
No, I think they're operating.
Oh, it'd be great, not now, but maybe for next month, just to get a report on what's going on there.
Yeah. How many employees? Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Any further questions or comments? In the room, I don't see anything. Not seeing anything online. Are there any hands raised? No. All right, so I just wanted to circle back to our quarterly presentation with the Civilian Review Board Representative Javon Carter. And I wasn't sure if he was online or here. I don't think. Okay.
He's not here.
All right. So moving forward to our vision in action for responsive, transparent government, economic, community development. Our first presentation regarding the International Festival of Arts and Ideas in Fairhaven involvement. Joe Rodriguez, I believe, should be online.
I'm gonna take that one actually, Liz.
Oh, you are?
Okay, he asked me to do it, yeah.
Oh.
Did I get somebody else? Want to know?
No.
So the Arts and Ideas Festival, that you all know, citywide festival in the month of June, also sponsors neighborhood festivals. And we've done one in Fairhaven for many years. Many folks in this room have been on the organizing committee, sort of shift around who's doing it. Usually we've been outside of Fame. I don't remember the location, but we've had some other locations that we've tried as well. And it's like a 5 or 6 hour festival in May. You're able to close down a street, bring musicians in, artists, vendors, crafts, all kinds of things. So I was on the committee last year, which is why Joe asked me to do this. So we're at the point now of putting together the committee for this year. There's also a group at Fairhaven School that wants to revive Fairhaven Day, which was something from the history of Fairhaven. I never participated, I've heard about it. So we're talking with the festival about potentially combining those efforts to like a really big festival. And so all of that is still up in the air. And the main reason for coming to the management team is just to let you all know that it's in process, and also to invite you, anybody who's interested, to be on the planning committee. It's totally open to anybody who's interested, and we want to make sure that there's sort of a direct connection to the management team as we go forward.
Something I wanted to say about this, that mainly is so that it winds up in the minutes, which is, we had talked about the possibility of moving an event that we had traditionally done in September. An event that was for when kids go back to school and kind of an outreach at the end of summer. We talked about just discussing whether we should move it earlier into the year, because there are so many end of year events, end of summer events now, and kids get food and they get backpacks and so on and so forth. So I just want to go on the record saying that maybe we could reach out to the organizing committee that is mainly people from Fairhaven, and see if instead of setting up another event, there's so many events at the beginning of summer as well, maybe a collaboration that is a celebration of Fairhaven. For those of you that remember way back, it was Fairhaven Day. In Dixwell, they've been very successful at combining the arts and festivals, resources, and their ability to coordinate such an event with things that are going on that properly belong to the Dixwell community. I think that might be a model for us. So I'd like for that to go in the minutes and just let you know that, excuse me, at the next executive committee meeting, I'm going to bring that up at the executive committee meeting so we can formulate something, and then we can bring it back to you to see if you all would be interested in pursuing that. I might also at the same time reach out to the committee, the organizing committee from the festival, the Fairhaven people, and ask them if they would be interested in that sort of collaboration.
I think that's great. The committee right now is Joe Rodriguez, Rafael Ramos, and Kevin Diaz, with me kind of helping. So I would just say if anybody is interested, you can email me at my Alder email, ward14@newhavencT.gov. And the meetings are kind of at different times, not a regular schedule, but we'll get you looped in, and again, everybody is very welcome to participate.
Okay. I think before we continue, I just wanted to give a quick update. Jaywan just messaged us to let us know he's dealing with a family emergency, but he looks forward to participating at the next meeting. We'll be moving on with Ms. Paola Serafia with Hope Family Justice Center, asking for a CDBG letter of support request.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm here from the Hope Family Justice Center and the Umbrella Domestic Violence Shelter. So as you've been hearing from law enforcement and our other partners here at this meeting, it's been a very scary and critical time due to community violence. This has also been an increase of domestic violence and people fleeing from abuse. We have victims that are coming from all over the state to look for a reprieve. The domestic violence shelter focuses on people that are fleeing from abuse. They're in fear of their lives, and it's really to provide a safe home for their families and the children. They do provide the services within Fairhaven for Fairhaven residents as well. At the Hope Family Justice Center, we have over 150 collaborators to work together. We work very closely with law enforcement, legal services, and counselors, and also the community resilience program that now we're part of as a partnership to reduce gun violence. We're here to respond and coordinate services. Within our first 3 years of inception, we are over 6,000 visits to the Hope Family Justice Center, and this is during a time of COVID. And so we are looking for your support, any funding and letter support for the CDBG, so that we can continue to provide these immediate safety net services that are wraparound. And I want to tell you also, Fairhaven is very dear to my heart, as a lot of you guys know, and I've worked with you guys very closely, and really to reduce domestic violence homicides is really our mission right now. And every person at the Hope Family Justice Center does speak Spanish, and if anybody does speak a different language from another country, we do provide those interpreter services. I'll stop there because I can talk about it all night.
Thank you so much. All right, moving on, we have Caroline Candy Smith with Collab, also requesting a CBDG letter of support.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Caroline Tomby Smith, and I'm one of the co-founders of Collab and really excited to be here. I'm also joined by my colleague on Zoom, Cindy Rodriguez, who's observing and is going to be helping me out tonight. For those that might not be familiar with Collab's work, we support entrepreneurs right here in the heart of the city. And our main mission is to make sure that entrepreneurship is accessible to every single New Haven resident. And we do that in a number of different ways. We host office hours. We have a 6-week pre-accelerator. In fact, Ruby just graduated from our pre-accelerator this last December. And we also have a 12-week accelerator as well. And I'm here tonight because we're asking for a letter of support for our community development block grant application. And we're hoping to fund 2 things with this grant. One, our venture managers, which are really part of the heartbeat of our organization. They sit down one-on-one with entrepreneurs, help them with their pro formas, their financials, their business plan. They're an incredible part of our organization. And also 2, our wraparound accessibility services. We want to make sure that every single entrepreneur can access our services. So we provide childcare and interpretation and transportation services to make sure that entrepreneurs can be successful while they're working with us. We've been really honored to receive, I think, a letter of support from the Fairhaven Community Management Team for, I believe, to be honest, the last 2 years. So thank you all so much for your support. And in addition to the CDBG letter of support, I just want to shout out some individuals on the community management team who have just been so supportive of our entrepreneurs. I see Dave Weinreb here on Zoom. He invited one of our graduates, Alegria Cafe, which is a Mexican food truck founded by Maria Torres, just launched this past year on Grove Street. Dave invited her to come to his school to sell to teachers, which was fantastic. Thanks so much, Dave. Of course, Lee Cruz, I mean, you've been so pivotal for our organization and have also poured into our entrepreneurs. I see Kirk here as well. I think one of our very first events that we ever had, Immigrants in Entrepreneurship, was hosted right here in this room. So thank you, Kirk, for being a host for us and for always spreading the word about our program. So in addition to support with CDBG, just thank you so much for continuing to spread the word and pouring into our incredible hardworking entrepreneurs here in the city. Thank you so much, guys. Oh, also Cindy's going to put in the chat our website. So if you want to check out more about our services and contact us directly, Cindy, thank you so much for putting our website in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. And moving on to environment.
Oh, before you move on there, Liz, can I just jump in real quick and let people know about voting for? So we just heard from Paola and Carolyn.
Adam,
Yes.
We're just going to have Lior present because although it's different, it's all voting. And then after he's going to ask for a letter of support. And then
okay.
Once.
Okay.
How much money is it? Oh, how much money is Collab requesting and the project that Paola, what's the request?
So the request is for $70,000 to support our venture managers as well as our wraparound accessibility services.
And Paola, what's the request?
So there's 3 different programs. So I believe we sent it within our proposal yesterday. I don't know if you or David or Abigail might have it.
Yeah, you don't know, you don't have the total?
I don't. I was just told about this meeting yesterday.
So if you could give us that total, so it goes in the minutes.
All right, let me call him right now.
Yeah, and then people can, when they're gonna vote, they'll know how much money is being requested.
Okay, I'll do that right now. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So we'll move on to environment immigration. We don't have anyone presenting, no issues on the agenda. So we'll move to health, housing, and public safety. We have Safe Streets Coalition, Leora Trustman and Max Sarah-Olivier.
Good evening, everybody. Can you all hear me there in person and on Zoom?
Yes.
Awesome, wonderful. Yeah, my name is Max. I'm with the Safe Streets Coalition of New Haven. We're a volunteer group that tries to make our streets safer, more equitable, and more sustainable. And most of what we do is try and focus on improving the infrastructure for the future. But sometimes we also want to kind of look back and memorialize people for whom those improvements come too late. So a lot of people, as you may know, are hurt or killed on our streets while walking or biking by cars and by our dangerous streets. Since 2020, 23 people have been killed across the city by cars alone. And our group in the past has tried to put up some memorials. You might have seen them around, some signs hand painted, and then on other occasions we had ghost bikes, which are memorials that are bikes painted white and chained up. But we want to do something a bit more formal, a bit more legible to people that don't know what those memorials are, and a bit longer lasting. So our proposal is to set up, as a pilot program, 3 ghost bikes, so 3 memorials to bikers who were killed in 2020. And one of those people was Julio Ruiz, who was killed at the corner of Grand and Ferry. And I had some slides. Is it possible to just show those briefly? Because some of this is easier, I think, with visuals.
Yeah, you can either share screen on your own, or I believe I have them if you'd prefer that I do it.
I can, yeah, I'll try. I've had some annoyances with sharing in the past, but let me just try it real quick. So let me know if you can see this. Can you see that image?
Yep, you're good.
Yep. Okay, what if I go into slideshow mode? This is when it's not worked in the past.
Got loading.
Yeah, okay. This has been the problem before. Is it too small when I'm in this mode? Okay, so this is a map just so you see of where people have been killed since 2020. You can see most of it on our major corridors, and 2 people have been killed in Fairhaven, and this is just since 2020. If we had a map that went further back, it would be really covered. These are the memorials we put up in 2020. They were just kind of hand done and informal, and they didn't last all that long. And if you don't know what you're looking at, especially with these ghost bikes, you don't necessarily know that it's a memorial. So for this project that we want to be implementing this year, we wanted to focus on it, like I said, the 3 ghost bikes. And the one in question that I wanted to share with you all is at Grand and Ferry, which is in memory of Julio Ruiz, who was killed in 2020 in May. So we were kind of inspired by ghost bikes in California and in Iowa, which are mounted like this and have a small sign attached. And if this goes well and we're able to do it, we'd also like to memorialize pedestrians with ghost shoes that could go up on lampposts or other kinds of signs. So we met with Alder Sarah Miller, who I think is here tonight, maybe in person, who kindly kind of walked through the corner with us and thought through where we might place a memorial like this that wouldn't be in the way, but would also be visible. So here are some pictures with Alder Miller and Lior, who's also here tonight with our group. This is one option on the southeast corner. You can see the memorial here. We could also place it a bit further down on the corner. The other location that we mocked up as a possibility was on the southwest corner. You can see that here. So we've presented this to the various city departments who've all signed off. We're just waiting to hear back from legal counsel. But while that's happening, we wanted to kind of come to the community and first just share this idea, this project, hear your thoughts, your input. And if you are supportive, would love to have a letter of support that we could bring to the full board of alders, because they will have to vote on it as a full board before we can install anything more permanently. We've already raised funds for it, so no need to, we're not asking for any money, just for your comments and your support. And I think I'll leave it at that. And maybe I'll stop sharing screen so I can see people again.
All right, thank you so much. Are there any questions? Before we move on to Adam with the voting instructions, how do you vote?
Liz, can I ask one quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks. Hi, Max. Max, in addition to the bikes, is there any QR code or explanatory sort of like signpost that tells people who don't know what a white bike means, what the white bike signifies?
Yeah, so we want to keep it pretty simple and don't want to kind of link. It's meant to be a memorial first and foremost and not a kind of call to action or anything political. So elsewhere, they just have this very simple message. You know, a biker or a walker was killed here on this date at this intersection. And then with some very simple message, traffic violence is preventable. In the cases where family or friends of the person killed reach out to us or we're in contact with them, and if they want some more specific message or they want to name the person, we obviously would totally defer to them on how it looks. But since in most cases we don't know the families, we don't really want to be using names. But yeah, since those people don't know what it is, we plan to just have a small placard, one on each side, probably English, Spanish, that just has a very simple message of what happened. The QR code is a great idea. We were kind of thinking about doing that, and the question is a little bit where it would lead. We don't really want it to be like us promoting our group or something. There's the Vision Zero network, which might be a good resource to point people to. So yeah, we'd be happy to think about what a good website or other resource might be to point people towards.
I have a question. Once the installation is done, is any maintenance done, especially since there's a potential for graffiti, which would really detract from the memorial?
Yeah, so our plan is to have the memorial up for 5 years. Our thought is that that's about how long it's likely to last. We're going to do it out of fully stainless steel, but you know, things degrade. And the plan would be to budget in fully new paint every year. If it turns out that's not enough and then it's getting, you know, vandalized or weather is really beating it up faster, we can revisit that and do it more often. But our plan right now was to do upkeep once a year. And then after 5 years to take the memorial down. Partly also just because, sadly, if we did memorials to every single person killed and they stayed up forever, our city would be blanketed, which maybe is a good thing for awareness, but is also not exactly what we want. If this goes well, we were thinking maybe in the future we could have a small memorial garden or location in the city where they kind of get retired to, and there's sort of a more collective place for remembrance and mourning. But that's something down the line. So for maintenance, yeah, just once a year cleaning and full repainting, and if any kind of signage needs to be replaced, we could do that too.
Yeah, I was thinking more of graffiti, especially in that particular area.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, if it's on the bike, we would do repainting, and if it's on the sign, we would probably replace the sign.
Any additional questions either in the room or online? Oh, go ahead, sir.
One question, so or Max, it's mentioned that we haven't attempted to reach out to the family regarding the bikes, or if they wanna input. Some of them, I mean, sometimes they might want like a photo of their loved one on there, maybe like a favorite quote or something on their loved one, but I mean, I don't know if that's something that you do, or if it's just the memorials placed there after their passed.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear the question.
Yeah, you have to stand up and speak loudly.
Or if someone could just, yeah.
So the question was, do you ever reach out to the families to ask? One is, you know, if they want a memorial. Second one is if they ever want maybe something more personalized, like a quote or maybe a favorite item or something, or maybe a photo. Some people may want it, some people may not, but that was just the question.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Our group has kind of discussed this in the past. Our feeling right now is that we don't really have the resources as this kind of small volunteer group to reach out to people and then also offer them the support they might need. We don't want to kind of invade someone's privacy without also being able to be a support network for them. There are other groups in New York, especially, who do this really well. Transportation Alternatives has an entire staff of people who reach out to families and friends of victims of traffic violence. And I would love to be there in 5 or 10 years, but I just don't think we are now. Like I said, if in any case there is a family member or a friend of a person who's been killed who wants to collaborate with us or has ideas, we are totally open to that. So if anyone here knew a Julio Ruiz or anyone else who's been killed by traffic violence in the city and wants to reach out, I'll put my name in the chat. Please email. Well, yeah, I'll drop in the chat right now. But without that kind of input, we're going to keep it fully anonymous.
Thank you. So if there are no additional questions, either online or here at the library, I'll have Adam give a rundown of the voting procedure. I don't see anything here in person, so no.
All right, I don't see anything online. So we just had 3 different people with things that require our voting member feedback. So we have a request for the collab the CDBG letter of support. Same for the Hope Family Justice Center's community development grant. That was Paula. And then for this last one, what Max just talked about, the support for the Ghost Bike Memorial. So I'm going to drop into the chat right now a link to the vote. And there it is. If you're in person.
I'm sorry, excuse
Yes.
me, sir. I was asked by Lee to give you numbers for the Hope Center and for the shelter, and I got the numbers.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
If you want to go ahead and give those real
Before
quick.
you start voting,
Yeah.
okay. So it's gonna be for the housing specialist for the shelter, $63,856. And then the request for the Hope Family Justice Center for rent, keeping our lights on, and the bilingual advocate that we're gonna hire is $92,916. Whatever you could do to assist us, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so I just put a link in chat. This link will also be in your email that you receive after the meeting. It'll also be in the meeting minutes. If you're in person and you absolutely do not want to deal with the internet, you can talk to Christina before you leave, our recording secretary. But everyone else that's on Zoom or whatever, you have until Sunday at midnight, 11:59 to fill out this form. And it's just a real quick, put your name in so we can make sure you're a voting member. And then there's a vote for each one of these. Should we write a letter to support this? So if the vote passes, we'll write letters in support or not write the letter if it fails for the collab and Hope and the Safe Streets. And each one is an independent vote. You can click abstain if you don't want to vote on any one particular issue, or if you only want to vote on one, you can abstain on multiple. And like I said, we have until Sunday at midnight to get this done. And you can fill it out now, and then we tally the votes and issue letters as are appropriate. Oh, did I not? I clicked share, but I didn't actually share. So I was pointing at things you couldn't see. So here's the form looks like. You just click in and put in your name. If you are curious, if you're a voting member, that also is in all of our emails and available on our website at FHCMT.org.
All right, thank you, Adam. We have a question here in the room. Go ahead.
Yes.
Why am I not receiving email?
We might not have you on our list. It's possible it's either going to spam or we don't have you on the list. If you could write an email to fairhavencmt@gmail.com and just ask to make sure that your email is on the list, we can double check that.
I put it in every time I sign in.
Are you writing it down on the sign-in sheet on the piece of paper?
Yes.
Okay, we need to incorporate that a little bit more. That's currently not being transferred in, but we can make sure that that happens.
This is Aldo Crespo. I'm also not giving emails. I will get an email once upon a time, and then it will stop. That can be added. So that'd be great.
So let's make sure everybody that has this problem, put it on here. And Christina will, can you do it or I'll do it? We'll take a picture and send it.
I swear, I sent it.
That's all the problem right now. Yeah. So please make sure your email is on there. We want to be on email. Thank you.
The spam filters, you can pull emails they shouldn't pull, so check your spam filter folder.
Yeah, sometimes that happens, definitely, thank you. And
And then, yeah, the other thing that I've noticed is sometimes if you use Gmail, it's got those like primary and promotions and social, and half the time it's in one box and half the time it's in another one. So they do come in, it's just not always consistent, you know, what folder it might come into.
right. Thank you, Adam. So for our arts, culture, and library category, we have Kurt Morrison with the Fairhaven Branch Library.
Hey, everybody. Thanks to everybody who's here tonight. And if you're online, come in and see us sometime. We have a lot going on this month, just like every month. One program that I'd like to highlight, especially for anyone who had a New Year's resolution to get organized this year, downsize, get rid of the clutter. On Saturday, the 14th, so a week from this Saturday, we're going to have a professional organizer, Jan Baltrush, in, who will be giving you strategies on decluttering, getting organized, and downsizing. I had her in at a previous library I worked at, and we had a crowd out the door for her. So if that's you or somebody that you know that needs to declutter, send them in here. It'll be Saturday, again, January 14th at 11 a.m. It's free. Hope to see you there. And come in anytime, check us out. And there's much going on for all ages. Thanks.
Thank you for that update, Kurt. Moving forward, we have our bylaw update with Adam.
Hello, it's me again. I just want to let you know that, you know, we've been talking about updating our bylaws. We did have a meeting of the committee that of volunteers to talk about what kind of issues our current bylaws have, what possible answers we have to that. I mean, this all started with the kind of question of, you know, our current bylaws had kind of, you know, no consideration for a post-COVID world, or, you know, anything that, you know, kind of unexpected that might happen that, you know, maybe we can't do Zoom, maybe we can't do in person, maybe all kinds of things. And so we really started looking at it. And while we looked at it, we also noticed that there's, you know, quite a few things that, you know, could stand to be improved. You know, yeah, Dave just linked the bylaws in the chat. If you're in person, they're on our website, fhcmt.org/bylaws, or just go to the main page and click the bylaws thing. So we're currently working on kind of language around what to do in the event that there's a major something that prevents a good, you know, some people can only come in person. Some people can never come in person. How do we make that equitable and fair for everybody? But then when we were going through it, we noticed there were a lot of just kind of small things and maybe not so small things, such as, you know, let me see. The vice chair, what I do. I do things. I actually do things. I record all your attendance. I'm doing all kinds of stuff like that. But according to the bylaws, I just kind of do whatever the co-chairs need me to do. And So we're gonna actually give me a real job, theoretically, if we all agree to it, because we will have another meeting where we kind of synthesize all the ideas that we've been working on, and then we will bring it to the whole body as a whole, and we will vote on these things one by one to make sure that we all agree to this. And there are a number of other changes, like, you know, there currently isn't really a process for doing amendments or changing the bylaws. There's an amendment section, but no definition of how to make an amendment. So we had a meeting, we've been kind of going through it and making notes and pointing things out. Like I said, we're going to have another one to kind of bring everything together. And then hopefully in the next month or two, we should be able to come to one of these meetings and have a big voting day of, you know, should we change this? Should we change that? You know, all that kind of stuff. So. And then if anyone has anything that's particularly bugs them about the bylaws or any problems like that, feel free to reach out to the fairhavencmt@gmail.com. But, you know, this is definitely something we're trying to work in, you know, like a very collaborative process that we're trying to do.
Adam, where can people see a copy of the current bylaws?
So yeah, the current bylaws, one linked in the chat by Dave. Two, you can go to fhcmt.org/bylaws, or just go to fhcmt.org and click the bylaws button. And those are the most recent bylaws from April 2019, I believe.
All right. Thank you so much, Adam. We have no further announcements this evening, so we'll move on to the Alder reports from wards 8, 9, 10, 14, 15, and 16. We'll allow 2 minutes each this evening in the interest of time. Is Alder Ellen Kupo online? I don't see her here in person. No? Okay. Moving on to Alder Claudia Herrera with Ward 9. Is she online? I don't see her here in person either.
I don't see her now.
Okay, thanks, Adam. Alder Ana Festa with Ward 10. All right, I'll move on to Alder Sarah Miller, who's here in person. You have an update?
Okay, sure. Thanks, everyone. I'll give this a very quick one, focusing on the Atwater Center. I don't know how many folks know that we allocated ARPA money back in the summer to renovate the Atwater Senior Center into a full service community center. So that process is getting underway now. I've worked with Elderly Services and Youth and Recreation to put together a survey about what we want to see, so I can. It's a Google form, so we can distribute that through the list hopefully later. And so we're going to start with that. We'll also do flyers to all the schools, a lot of the programs that work with young people of all ages in the neighborhood, to try to get really broad input about what we want to see there in terms of programs, hours, just the way that the place operates. It will be some partnership between Youth and Recreation, Elderly Services Department, with opportunity for community organizations to also run their programs in the space at designated times. So we're going to start with the survey, and we're also going to have a community meeting in February, and we'll announce that. Obviously, the date is set, with coordinating the date with the various city departments that participate. And we'll look forward to everybody's feedback into really creating a community center that we can all access and that we. So I'll just focus on that for tonight.
Thank you so much, Alder Miller. I do know Alder Ernie Santiago with Ward 15 was here, but I'm not sure if he stepped out or left. So I can move forward with Alder Jose Petro with Ward 16. If you have
Good evening, everyone. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just one thing that I have been working on this year is FHCMT. I know that for even constituents have asked for it. They text me all the time, but it's FHCMT. So hopefully by the end of April, early May, we should see several FHCMTs in the 16th ward. I've asked for Chapel Street, James Street by John Martinez and Old Spring School. I've also requested several of the sections in Poplar and and where kids are normally being picked up in the morning. Because the bus stops, when they pull out and they have that stop sign flashing, cars go pass right by them. Also, the stop signs that are there, you know, in the corner of every section, they appear to be non-existent. And so folks just drive through like if it's a regular street, and instead of, you know, learning how to stop and then proceeding, they just continue to fly by. And I know that in the past, one of the child that was standing in, I believe, Lloyd, he was struck. He was actually sent to the hospital 10 years old. So this year we're focusing on reducing and calming down the traffic and putting speed bumps in those sections where they're speeding or having races. So for now, I'm going to focus on that. And if you have any questions, concerns, please feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you so much, Elder Fresco, for your update. Elder Santiago has not returned, so he may have stepped out for the evening. However, I just wanted to quickly point out, if you wanted to reach out to any of the elders in charge of your ward, we have the phone numbers and email addresses on our agenda. So those here in the library, we have copies on the table. And also for those online, you can get that information of the link to the agenda up there for you as well. It is also available, the agenda itself, in the email that we sent out with the email blast. If your elder is not here and you'd like to see them here to participate in our monthly meetings, please do feel free to reach out to them. They may not always be able to be here because they have so many meetings, but just wanted to let everybody know that they can certainly reach out to them and invite them or a representative to speak on their behalf. So moving forward, if there are any, before we wrap up, questions about our recent agenda or recommendations for future agenda items or announcements, please feel free to contact us through email. That's fairhavencmt@gmail.com. And is there anything before we put up? I don't see anything online.
Just need to officially adjourn.
Okay, so I'd like to.
Madam Chair, move that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All right, it's almost.
All in favor?
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you,
Take care.
everyone. We had a popular meeting this month, so thank you all for coming out. Thanks for sticking around.
See you now.